Many people wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. When I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up. In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, I like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Nominally. I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist, the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery. When I try to show them, they say they still can't see. I say, it's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the ride of my breasts, the grace of my style. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about or have to talk real loud. When you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. I say, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palms of my hands, the need for my care. Because I'm a woman, phenomenally, phenomenal woman. All you women and me.
As earlier this year, a friend, we went out for coffee and she was like, I see that you used to do this event and I see that it was very successful, very popular. Why don't you do it anymore? And I was like, it's a lot and it's getting people together, and I'm kind of got away from that because if anybody knows me, I'm all about sports. And I just got my master's in sports psychology last year. So I've been working on those. Thank you. So I said, all right, she convinced me and I did it again for just one more year, one last time maybe, we'll see. But I'm so appreciative for everyone that's here, for everyone that has sponsored, donated, bought a ticket, shared the flyer. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. And I also want to shout out one of our vendors, Jeff, Tailor Made Touch Therapy. He is offering free chair massages, 5 minutes? 5 to 10 minutes, okay? So he's right here in the right-hand corner. So make sure you visit him after the panel discussion is done. We'll have about an hour for networking and everything like that. I will touch on the sponsors in a little bit, but make sure you guys visit them once the panel discussion is over. Talk to them, exchange information, and even exchange information with each other. If you don't know someone, go up to them. Hi, I'm so-and-so. It's good to connect, you never know, right? So without further ado, I want to first welcome one of my closest friends. I call her my twin. And I'm so happy she agreed to be my host. But before I do that, she's also an event planner. Today is 8 years of beach hiking. Thank you, DJ.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Phenomenal Woman panel. So we're gonna get started. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to host the event. I'm so proud of her. It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad that the fire got back into her again to do this. Yeah. So thank you for doing this, and thank you everyone for being here. So let's get started. So our first panelist is Bobby Brown, and I'm going to introduce her. I'm going to talk about a little bit about what she does. So here goes. Bobby Brown, a dynamic communications professional. She made significant impacts in media and community leadership. At age 13, she became Connecticut's youngest radio producer with Let's Talk Brown. She founded 100 Girls Leading, a nonprofit mentoring program for over 500 young women. Currently, she is Senior Communications Director at Workforce Alliance and President of the Great Bridgeport NAACP. A distinguished Oral Roberts University alumna, she is recognized for her social justice work and is a sought-after speaker on women's empowerment and equity. Please introduce Bobby Brown. Come on to the stage, girl. And that's Bobby with an I. Bobby's not a Y. All right. So our phenomenal panelist is Lauren Wells, affectionately known as your gut health bestie and breathwork sis. She is the founder of Her Vital, a holistic wellness and personal development company. As a certified digestive health coach and mindfulness coach, through integrated practices, nutrition, and mind-body healing techniques like breathwork, Lauren helps women eradicate stress, prevent burnout, and cultivate the resilience needed to excel in their careers and lives. Let's give it up for Lauren Wells. All right.
I'm going to interrupt really quickly because I think this is important. So each of the panelists are going to be asked 4 questions. Each one is going to have 5 minutes to answer. But I wanted to explain where the questions come from. So a few of you know I am a sports psychology consultant. I created a workshop called the VIBE Plan. And it's an acronym for Vision, Invigorate, Best, and Empower. So vision is, we all juggle multiple roles. We play different roles in our lives. But how do we balance it? How do we see ourselves? How do we characterize all those roles that we have? Because sometimes we feel like just because I'm a mom, I can't really be a certain way, or because I'm a professional, I can't be a certain way. But characteristics that embody who you are as a mom can also embody who you are as a professional, right? And writing it down helps you realize that. So that's vision. Invigorate is, what can I do to stay within that vision? What can I do to keep me going? What can I do to keep me motivated? And that includes concentration skills, whether it's meditation, praying, journaling, exercising, listening to music, whatever it is you need to do to keep you focused, that's how you invigorate yourself toward that vision or whatever goals you have. Best is making sure you surround yourself with the best people, best places, best movies, best music, best quotes, anything that's going to keep you centered to who you are authentically and keep you within the vision you have for yourself. And the last is empower, which is words of affirmations you say to yourself verbatim. Whether that's just things you create in your head, a Bible verse, a song lyric, whatever it is, you say it every day to empower you and to also remind you of your why. So, the 4 questions that I'm going to ask each of these panelists embody the VIBE Plan. Just wanted to make sure I explained that. Thank you.
So we're going to start off with the V in the VIBE Plan, vision. So that means to juggle multiple roles effectively, prioritize responsibilities, decide whether to integrate or separate them, and focus on key behaviors. This approach reduces stress, aligns actions with your values, and fosters a balanced life. So each question, just 5 minutes per person. Question number 1, so everyone will have a chance to answer. Question number 1 is, how do you identify and cultivate key behaviors in 2 primary aspects of your life that align with and propel your overall vision? So, who wants to start first? Okay. All right, so Bobby's not first. Okay, so Bree.
So that is a great question, and for me, it's discipline and being intentional both in my personal life and my professional life. So what that looks like for me, it personally is I prioritize daily. Faith comes first, it is the foundation for me. Also just my own self-growth, and how does that look like continuously. So I have a daily routine, which is I wake up, I pray, I work out, whether it's going to the gym or moving my body in some way, somehow. And also being intentional. I'm very big on what you think you become. So if you're waking up first thing in the morning and you're already telling yourself, I'm gonna have a bad day, you already attract that energy to yourself. So it's important that I'm setting my day with intention and what that looks like for myself, personally and professionally. That helps me to lock into my vision, not only as a mom, but also how can I show up for my clients when I'm doing therapy with them, but also with my fitness clients, and I'm helping them navigate through their fitness and their nutrition to feel empowered within themselves. And with all of that, it's also just accountability and having a strategy for each day so that I'm able to just show up, but also emulate to my clients that you can do whatever that you can as long as you are intentional about your day.
Great answer. Who's next? Lauren.
Hello. I would piggyback off of that as well. I would say for me, it's definitely consistency and adaptability because life be life, right? So it's times that we may have to shift and change or what we do, but for the most part, I implement. Anybody ever heard of the book, The Miracle Morning? I might want to check out that book. So I follow what is in that book, which is known as SAVERS. So it's SAVERS. So silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, like journaling. So I try to take the first 2 hours of my morning for me. I used to take on clients as soon as I wake up and all of that, but I realized I'm depleted after a while. So I took back my time for me so I can be able to overflow, right, into the spaces where I'm called to. So those are the things that I really do, and then just really take an evaluation of myself, like how am I feeling, and I believe in that, as far as what you say to yourself is how you actually radiate out and magnetize what you're supposed to bring back to you. So those are the things that I really, really focus on, but at times it might not be savers, it may just be saved for the day. I'm not the RNS, or I might not have to exercise. So, I really do check in, but for the most part, those are the key things that I implement.
Great answer.
I guess I would say that I set boundaries and I am working on choosing me.
That's great.
I think it's really important. I don't think a lot of people in here know me, but if you do know me, you know I don't have to code switch anywhere I go. And so I think that comes with setting boundaries and being authentic to who I am and who I choose to be. And just realizing when I show up, if I feel like it, I feel like it. If I don't, I don't. And then both days, people can see my heart. And so I think those boundaries are important. And when you set them with people, you don't allow outside elements or people to determine how you are going to show up. And I think I probably used to do that. I have a lot of patience, but I also have a short fuse for nonsense. And I know the people who are laughing get that. So yeah, I set boundaries. I set very clear boundaries of what I will do, what I won't do, what I will say, what I won't say. One boundary that I have set for myself is how I start my mornings. Like Lauren was saying, it is very important, and this is weird because my mother would call me early in the morning, first thing. My mother, the woman who gave me life, guess who died? And I'm like, it's 7:23 a.m. And then it'd be somebody I never even heard of. She called me when Baby White died. I'm like, let's come, please. And so for a long time, because I am, I don't want to say I'm a people pleaser, but I do want to please my parents. So I wouldn't say anything to her. But after a while, I was just like, I'll be 40 this year. I'm grown now. Mom, you can't call me with that stuff. And even my husband, if you scroll on Facebook, you see somebody die, let me find out on my own. Because I'm triggered, I'm traumatized. And so that's just an example of a boundary that I set. Don't call me with no foolishness or nonsense, or news of something that's not relevant to my growth. I think that's it. And just be yourself. Be yourself. Know how you need to show up and stay in tune. Even in the moment, if you find yourself doing something that's not truly authentic to you, or if it doesn't feel right, correct yourself in the moment and turn the other way and do what you need to do for you.
Very good.
For me, I'm a big person of advocating. So I always teach my girls, I run a mentorship program, and my big thing is, we have pillars, is educate, advocate, mentor, and empower. And I don't believe in doing anything that disrespects my core values. The moment that I feel that it colors outside the line, I'm quick to call you out and be like, you've stepped into territory that doesn't belong to you. It took me a while to be that person. I've learned a lot. I have this thing, you step into territory that does not belong to you. And it's vital for the work that I do. I'm a big advocate. Like I said, I believe in advocating. But advocating for myself took me a long time to do. And learning, like you, give a perfect example. I went away to college. I went to college in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and my mom called me every single day, stressed me out what was happening back in Richmond. And I'm a big leader in my community, so imagine being far away and not being able to do anything back home. And I would come back with saucer-sized hives on my skin. And then I remember telling her, I said, for the next 3 years, you're not allowed to call me. While I'm here, unless there's an emergency, I will call you. You're not allowed to call. And it's funny that you say that because you know my mom. Yeah. So Gloria just be coloring outside the lines all the time. I have to remind her, back up. But no, so like one is advocating for myself. That's super huge. Speaking up when something doesn't feel right. Making sure that, I'm in the right space before I address anything. And then making sure that it does reflect my core values. And when it doesn't, you will know, because I will tell you. And then the last one is accountability. I don't do anything if I can't be accountable to myself and then also hold others accountable. The work that I do requires accountability because I'm leading the next generation. And how dare I step into a room that cannot lead properly. And yes, we have our days, and yes, we have our moments, but when you show up in places, you are accountable and should be accountable for the work that you do, what you say, how you say it, because someone is always watching. And even if they ain't, God's watching. So I try to stay accountable, and then, my third month. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next question is under invigorate. So that's the I in the vibe plan. So invigorate is concentration skills can significantly boost motivation and drive success by enhancing focus, productivity, and goal achievement. So this question is, what are 2 effective strategies you rely on to sharpen your focus and invigorate your motivation?
I have the mic. For me, I'm a big, so how many of y'all go to church? Yeah. All right, so y'all know, I should know where I'm about to go with this. And if you don't, you learned something today. The Bible talks about write the vision, make it plain. And if you don't know, we're big on vision boards and things like that. And one thing that I didn't know about vision boards is someone told me, there was like, vision board parties are cute, but you never know who's in the room that may be prying on your vision. So I've learned in my adulthood is to write the vision and make it between me and God, and not everybody needs to know. So they'll be quick to be like, oh, you put down your vision board, but it didn't happen. So now I'm like, only me and God knows what my vision is and where I want to go. So I have a tendency of writing everything out and making sure that I can see it daily and making sure it's something that I can reflect on often. And just because the pathway to it was difficult doesn't mean that it's not meant for me. It just meant that it took me a little bit longer to get there. So I'm a big person on that, and writing it out, identifying what it is. And then I'm big on work ethic. I don't want to hear nobody complain about something and I see you put in no sweat, no blood, no tears in it. So how I outline is I map those things out, I write those things out, I make them clear, and then I put action behind everything that I've ever done. And I'll give you a perfect example, then I'll pass the mic. I started my nonprofit for girls when I graduated college, and I didn't know where to start, but I knew what I needed to do. So I started pitching my ideas to a few trusted women, and they all gave me their own little bits and pieces of how to make it successful. So while it was my vision, I trusted those people to be able to help guide me to get there. And every day I added a little bit, added a little bit, added a little bit, added a little bit to what I want to see. This year will go on 6 years. B, you were my first, she was one of my first sponsors of my event. We held the largest all-girls event here in the city of Bridgeport, sponsoring over 500 to 600 girls for 1 day of interactive mentorship. No one knew all the details, but those that were in my close circle knew what it took for me to get in there. So every day, and going on year 6, reminds me of how dedicated I was to outlining those visions, the vision, and then executing my goals to make it happen. So I would say, definitely map those things out, write them out, get trusted people in your corner, and then hold yourself accountable to see it happen. So that's me.
Oh, it's okay. Just to piggyback off of that also, and like I said before, my faith is at the center and the core of everything. And if you would have came to me like 10 years ago, the relationship that I had with God, I was like, no, I'm mad. Don't talk to me, because my sister passed away 15 years ago when I went to church that morning to pray for her, and then that afternoon I found that she was gone. And so I was very angry, but now when I reflect back, it's a matter of, if I have this vision, but I know that I cannot walk in it alone. So I have to repair my relationship with the person who I feel broken with, because I can't do it alone. So having to walk in that, and now I'm like, all right, that is my person, like, he got my back. But he's also the same person who I go to first for clarity and for purpose, and being able to, I am a visionary, so I can see my dreams, but I also need the tools to be able to bring the skills together. So that's where my faith comes in, but then also, like you said, having a strategic plan. So I'm a psychotherapist, and my clients come to me, even my clients for fitness, they have these goals, right? These are long-term goals, but we also have to break them down into short-term ones. So what does that look like? If I'm practicing that for them, I also have to do that for myself, and be able to walk in it daily and have actionable steps. So not only is it faith, but it's also being strategic and also holding myself accountable in that. And I like what you said about having people who believe in your vision. That is so important. And you will know who believes in your vision. You will say it to that person, and they will instantly get it. They will not question. If that person says, I don't know about that little business, or maybe you should do it, say no more. Just keep it moving. Because again, you don't know who is prying on your downfall. So it's being intentional about who you say your vision to and who you want in your circle to be able to guide you and take those actionable steps, but also believe in yourself.
Yeah, so for me, it was also faith, community accountability, and then intentional time blocking. So, faith is first, period. I love that you shared that. I had a similar situation where I wasn't sure of, why would God, in the life, I have a brother who passed away pretty young as well. And I had such a teeter-totter, unsure relationship. My faith was always there, but I just didn't know how to feel, right? So sometimes when you get into that space and you don't know how to feel, it's like, I don't know how to feel with the Almighty yet, so I'm not even sure how I feel about life at this point, or, my goals or my intentions. So it is really important to restore, and thank you for sharing that, because it sparked something that wasn't intentionally my answer to this. So I realized the more that I started to pour into that, God did start giving me vision, because it was a point where I just lost vision. So once I started getting to developing my relationship a lot stronger with God, spending time with God, having silent self, and then understanding that I co-create with the best, which is God, then if I'm the one that's supposed to walk this life in mission, then I need to spend that quality time. So, being very intentional with, my vision with God, as far as having the right community that supports you. So it is important, just like I shared a little bit in the last answer, as far as evaluate your environment. So the people who are around you, the people who fill you up, and then also check in with yourself after you spend time with people, right? This is something I didn't realize, but I was like, there's times where either I'll feel like drained or a little confused, I'm questioning myself, or I find myself subconsciously saying things that someone might have you know how people kiki and say little jokes and stuff of when you have certain dreams or whatever that you want to do. So it's really important that you take inventory of the environment, the people, and build the community, build you up. There was a time when I started to grow and really started to build my business. My environment shifted. The people who I spent my most time wasn't there at the time. Now they are, thankfully, today, but at that time I realized I had to surround myself around a new environment of people that can fill me up. The people who was taking the first part of their mornings to pour into themselves. These constant conversations, the book that I just shared and told y'all about came from the community I was building. So being very, very intentional as far as the community accountability that you have it for yourself, but there's times you won't have it for yourself, right? There's times where just life kicks you down, you don't have it, and then that's when you need to lean on your environment, your community, your space to pour back into you. So that's one, and then I would say intentional time blocking, because baby, if I don't be very intentional with my time, especially being I work for myself and I make my own hours, I'll look around and my whole day pass, right? So, time blocking is very important so I can keep a bit of a structure to do all the things that I'm called to do. So that's essentially, I would say, pretty much what everybody said here, but the time blocking is the one thing I would say that I have for me.
So strategies for focus and motivation. I will agree with what everybody has said so far. Faith, right? Not to be all preachy, but the Bible says without faith it's impossible to please God. And so I happen to be a person of extreme radical faith. My husband doesn't always like it. But God always shows up for me, and I'm very careful not to place unfairly my motivation on people. So, you can say, Lauren motivates me, but what happened if Lauren switched up on me, right? Then where am I left? So I don't place my motivation on people. My motivation is God. My faith is in God, because there has been several situations where that's all I've had left to depend on. And so while it doesn't sound fancy or pretty or strategic, faith is a strategy. Please trust me on that. Faith is very much a strategy, and you should definitely hold to that. And then also affirming yourself to focus, telling yourself to focus. Talk to yourself, okay? Talk to yourself. Nobody can check you like you can check yourself, all right? Because nobody knows you like you know yourself. The things you lie to yourself about, yeah, check yourself on that in private. When you humble yourself, God don't have to do it for you. So just check yourself. So a lot of times I will say, Naquela, focus. Naquela, you know you was wrong when you did such and such, when you said such and such. I think you have to, what do you call it? Self-actualization. Really get to know you. There is no point in having a vision or trying to put something into fruition if you don't even know yourself. So yeah, I would say not depending on other people to be your motivation, but your faith in God. Get to know yourself and tell yourself to focus. Talk to yourself. Whatever you need to say to you, if you gotta cuss yourself out, be kind, give yourself grace, but whatever you gotta do, do that for you. It's actually unfair to expect others to do that for you. We all got a lot going on. Check in with yourself first before you depend on others.
Great. So now moving on to the B in the Vibe Plan, best. To stay true to our vision and remain motivated, it's essential to surround ourselves with people, place, music, books, and movies that ground us and keep us motivated. So this question is, who are the key individuals and what are the best practices that keep you focused and authentically aligned with your vision?
Since I have a mic.
Yes.
So with what I just said about not depending on people, you also do need people, right? You do need to depend on people. So I think it's really important to surround yourself by a few different kinds of people. People who know you from back in the day, right? People who know you where you are, and people who you aspire to be more like. I feel like having those childhood friends, or just people from the quote-unquote past, in a sense, that keep you grounded. Like they know the ins and outs of you. They see who you were, who you are now. They still respect you. But I think it's important to surround yourself by people who really know you and can keep you grounded, so your head doesn't get too big. I also think if you are the smartest person in the room, then you're the wrong room. So you need to get around people who are doing better than you, or who are doing things that you aspire to do. There's no way that you're going to go further if you're all in the same lane. Watching what you listen to, watching what you're watching on TV. And it's so funny, I'll use this as an example. Health has always been the challenge that I've had to face. And thank God I'm healthy. Thank you, Tom. Yep, you can clap for that. I'll take it. I praise God for that. But I would find myself watching shows like Chicago Med, or like health shows, and then I would find myself suddenly taking on the symptoms of what the people were going through. Yeah, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with my heart. Like, what is going on with me? And you don't realize that when you're watching stuff, especially those shows that keep you on the edge of the seat, you don't even remember where you are, what you're doing. You're so like powered. It'll suck you in, it'll suck you in. And I love shows like that, but you just have to be mindful about how, guard your heart, above all else, guard your heart, about how these things that you're watching are influencing you. I'm not saying don't watch it, because I'm gonna watch my shows. But what I'm saying is be careful about how you are being influenced, and then make those intentional changes if you feel like all of a sudden you're acting like the drug dealer on your show. And you didn't even grow up in the hood, like what's going on? So yeah, just your surroundings.
Yes, I would say mentors is important, peers, and also community. So similar in a sense of Naqueva. Fancy. You gotta say it with a Naqueva. But similar to what Naqueva said, as far as where you were, where you came from, those who remind you of your growth, where you're at right now. So the peers, as far as that you can relate to and where you are at that current time, and then where you're aspiring to be, is important, because that's what makes you well-rounded, right? And grounded at the same time. I also believe in I say protect your gates, protect your ears, your eyes, and what you say. And I'm like that too. I think it's an empath thing, because I remember I was watching New York Undercover, and then I literally was just feeling real rugged, having dreams that I was getting chased, and I was like, yeah, I gotta be mindful. So it is important, at least I like my shows too, but definitely before you go to bed, because there's a certain, your brain waves go to certain points. Right? So as you start shutting down, your brain is starting to shut down, and those last thoughts that's on your mind, you go to sleep with. So, I no watching New York Undercover or anything that does not serve you as you go to bed, for people who like to watch TV before you go to bed. And then I would just say the thing is that as I started this panel conversation, my first answer was check in with yourself. You've got to constantly check in with yourself to know what you need and what you need to be able to go for it. That's what I would initially say. So yeah, mentors, peers, community, and then check in with yourself.
I would agree with everything that you ladies are saying. I am a big person of trying to stay motivated. So I'm huge in the political realm, so I'm always reading the newspaper, I'm always watching the news, I'm always alert, because I feel like it's my job to come back and inform our community and kind of break down what's going on for those that are not involved. But I also had to be very, very careful to not find anger in my heart for things that I cannot control. And it's easy as a young person to be like, oh my God, they know better, they should blah, blah, blah. But what you can do is prepare yourself to be in the right place at the right time, so when the opportunity presents itself, you could be the one to lead the people or get them in line of where they need to go. I was a big, so one day I hope to be Congresswoman, so that's my goal. One of the things that I'm learning, and I didn't understand, I'm a big faith person and child of God, you name my mom's a preacher, everybody in my family in church. But one of the things that I had learned was like, I didn't understand the path that I was on at first. I was like, dang, this is not where I want to be. But then I keep getting these different examples of, here's what not to do when your time comes. And be mindful of what not to do. And, and also not being so hard on myself for not getting there as fast as I want to get there. With that being said, this is how we're going to move forward. One of the things that also helped me is, obviously my mentors and obviously the leaders that are around me, but one of my mentors said to me is like, you have to have a balance. Because I go. This is my 4th event today. I was like, Women's Ministry Month is driving me crazy. 4th event. And I said to myself, like, what do you do to like get yourself together? So I'm not a big runner. Running is not my thing, but I love to swim. I'm that black girl. Well, I don't care, braids, no braids. I'm in the pool, I'm at the Y, I'm somewhere. And I took up swimming in college because it really helped with my anxiety. I sometimes struggle with anxiety of just that, like I can feel it in my chest and I feel like I'm about to fall apart. And I'll go by a body of water and I'll sit there and I'll let the water do what it needs to do. I don't know, it's healing, y'all. Just hearing it, seeing it, it calms me. So I got me a membership at the gym, and I make sure that when I'm feeling overwhelmed or I'm feeling not like myself, to go swimming. And then, it helps. It's very, good on your lungs, and y'all the health people, so y'all know. But it just does something to me mentally that nothing else seems to do. Is that water, the hearing of it, the seeing of it, it's just a grounding thing for me. And I'm a Cancer, so it's all everything. So swimming is one of the things that I do, and then my other one that I enjoy doing to help keep me together is I enjoy going to sleep, because you are not your best self if you don't sleep, and I learned that the hard way. So taking a nap and being intentional about that sleep, because your body does the most filling. I think, y'all let me know if I'm wrong, if you sleep. So getting some good rest in helps as well. So I say that's kind of the things that I do.
So for me, you all know, faith is at the center of everything, so we don't need to go down that road. But I do agree with everything that these ladies shared. And it's my daughter. She is my motivation because she reminds me of why I do what I do. She's only 8, but she's like my little tea manager, I swear.
She is.
But she pushes me daily. And so to have that, it's an anchor also. So I know, all right, I'm being intentional for my day and being motivated, but also agreeing with who you surround yourself with. It is so important what your community looks like. I've had mentors. I continue to have a mentor for someone who I share my vision and dreams with. And sometimes when I second guess myself, or imposter syndrome is very real, and it can slow you down. And sometimes I do need to have my anchor, or that person like, hey, like this is what's going on in my mind. This is what I'm thinking about doing, and then I'm able to be poured back into. I hold space for a lot of people, as I share. So I do therapy with clients who go through their own traumas and depression, so holding space for them and guiding them through that. But then I have also my women who I do my fitness with, and they're going through their own emotions just hormonally, or as moms, and just being busy working individuals, holding space for them. But I also have to check in with myself. I'm human, and life is life. So I am a very big advocate on, you know what, I'm going on D&D. Please do not bother me today because I need to pour into myself. That looks like I'm taking a nap. I'm a big firm believer on taking a nap. I will do that. Or if I'm not doing that, I'm spending a few hours at the gym with my headphones on and I'm just walking out through a workout, treating myself to a day spa. Or I'm meeting up with family or friends who I have not connected with in a long time. And that is so important. We can be wrapped up in just our busy-day lives that we tend to forget about the most important people to us. So also being intentional about who do I know that I can get around, that I know are going to genuinely pour back into me, and I know that I can do the same for them, and go back to my baseline of just being at ease. So I would say that's like my motivation and strategy.
So now we are on the E of the value plan, which is empower. Feeling empowered is essential for staying motivated and confident. Words of affirmation are a powerful tool, helping us approach each day with encouragement, resilience, and grace. This question is, what daily affirmation do you find most empowering, and how does it inspire you to take action and stay motivated?
I'll start since it's happening. For me, it's I am walking in my purpose, and everything that is meant to me is mine. That is something that grounds me each and every single day. It keeps me aligned and locked into my vision. There are going to be days that are very tough, and I have challenging days, but when I'm able to center myself and say that affirmation for myself, I'm pouring back into me. I'm reminding myself what is my why and why do I do what I do, but that it leads me into being intentional about my day. All right, how can I show up at least 15 minutes towards my business, or how can I show up and just pouring into myself, and also being able to be a pillar and a safe haven for others as well. So, and it just, the vision is so clear for me that when having this affirmation of it's already mine, I'm claiming it. So once you see your vision and you affirm it to yourself daily, you're attracting it to you. You're bringing it to you. And you will see daily the different changes. Your environment will change, the people around you will change, the opportunities will come. It's all about believing in yourself first. When you have that self-belief, nothing can like shatter it, because you're walking in it daily.
So mine is, you is smart, you is kind, you is beautiful. I laugh because like it really is just, y'all, I really believe like I'm smart, I'm kind, I'm beautiful, I'm courageous, I'm a leader, and I say these things all the time, and I live it, and I try to make sure that I'm a good reflection of those things, and I don't want no one to do something to me that I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to do something to someone that I wouldn't want someone to do to me, and I live that, and I am an ambivert, so I'm very introverted. I really like to be by myself, but when I have to show up and be in person, I'll give you all the in-person energy, but I like to be by myself. And I have to remind myself that sometimes I can get in this very crab-like mindset, and no one else in the world matters but me in that moment. And I have to remind myself that I see these things, and to get myself out of like this little shell that I find myself in. And I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm kind. Okay, so that's a little bit.
I have a lot of affirmations actually. Like I have like a whole list full, and I do these affirmations when I feel like I arrive to the next space. So like after a while, when I read the affirmation and I feel like I have grown into that, then I do a check-in and reevaluate. And then I start moving to affirmations that make sense in my timeline. One that really sits that I see that comes often is I am shifting into my highest timeline of freedom and abundance. And I am worthy, period. I stand on that big time. So there's a lot. But those are the big ones that I really stand on because, there's times where I would grow or get to a certain point and then that becomes unrecognizable. Anybody ever had that happen? Like you get to this new level, this new space, this new role, this new job, this new business, and you're like, I don't know what to do, and sometimes you find yourself shrinking. So I have to often, lean back into the affirmation of that I'm worthy of this state and I'm shifting into my highest timeline, in fullness of abundance.
So that's when I really stand on a lot, and I find that it literally, I've had it for some years because I'm always shifting into the next timeline. Who I was yesterday is I'm learning today. You know, yesterday's prayer saying today's prayer even, right? So, but those are the things that I like stand into, and you know, just like everybody said here, you know, if we don't speak good about ourselves, if we don't big ourselves up, like I have people who, like, there's times where I feel defeated on my night. I'm thankful and blessed enough to have people around me, but you know, there's times where they can't pour back into you, like you were saying before. So it is really, really important that we get into the biggest practice of speaking the highest of ourselves. And one thing I believe in is how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And it shows up in every area. I'm the same belief as far as what you said, Bobby. That's my sister's name, by the way. I.E. though. But I do believe that, like, you know, if I have to, what I pour out, I want to receive, right? So, and even if sometimes I don't see it, right, because I'm shifting into my highest timeline. So that's the big one that I really stand on the most.
Don't compare yourselves to anybody. I just felt like to say that. I don't know if it has to do with anything that I'm going to say, but stop comparing yourself to other people. Just stop doing that. You're beautiful. You're amazing, just as you are. And it's okay to be yourself. So what I do something called prayer mapping, and London knows about that. She's over there. And so I make sure when I pray, I map it out in a way where, one, I give God praise. You're a beautiful creator, you're amazing, you're awesome. I make sure that I'm vulnerable with God, that I say what's going on with me, something that maybe I can't say to other people. I make sure that I'm thankful to God, and I thank God for the things that I need to thank Him for. And then I make a request. And so I make sure that I map my prayers out in that way, where I give God praise, I thank Him, I'm vulnerable, and I make my request. That's something I do. Then the next thing I do, and I do this with my kids as well, every day, as long as I can remember. What are you grateful for? What are you good at? And what are you going to work on? And I think by just kind of starting your day with, one, gratefulness, you really cannot go wrong with being grateful for something. Yes, for gratitude. And then just, you know, thinking about what are you good at, affirming yourself. You know, like, it could be anything. It doesn't have to do with your business. It doesn't have to do with what you're aspiring to. I'm good at making breakfast. Like, whatever it is, like, affirm yourself in that, and then give yourself something to work on. I feel like that covers bases, along with what the lady said, keeping faith, affirming yourself in all these different ways. Yeah, that's my simple short answer.
I love that. So this actually concludes our panel discussion. But at this time, give it up. You guys are fantastic. Great answers, by the way. That's really good. Yes. So this actually concludes this portion. You guys can sit right here. You don't have to move at all. Please don't move. Stay right there. So I'm going to introduce our keynote speaker at this time. You know, she's my friend and stuff, you know. But anyway, I'm going to introduce our keynote speaker. We're so happy to have her here. Dr. Chanel Rice. Dr. Chanel Renee Rice is an accomplished educator and counselor with over 16 years of experience in New Haven. She holds a bachelor's in psychology and individualized studies from the University of Connecticut, a master's in school counseling from Fairfield University, and an EDD in educational leadership from Sacred Heart University. Dr. Rice has worked as a school counselor and assistant principal in New Haven Public Schools and operates a private counseling practice. She is a licensed professional counselor and a member of several professional organizations. Dr. Rice was honored as one of the Connecticut's 100 Women of Color for the class of 2022 and has contributed to extracurricular activities, including assisting the girls basketball team at James Hill House High School. Dr. Rice's work in both mental health and education action is driven by her genuine love for helping others succeed. Introducing Dr. Chanel Rice.
I'm loud. Who had a birthday yesterday or today? Anybody? Who's had a birthday this week? Who has a birthday next week? Anybody in the month of March? March 3rd. March 3rd? Miss March 3rd. I have a necklace for you. So, I really don't think, can you all hear me? I'm not really a mic person. It's funny, just me and my best friend were just talking yesterday about this, and I was like, as social as I am, I hate public speaking, so please bear with me. But it's really truly an honor and privilege to be here with you all today. It's really powerful to stand in a room full of brilliance, resilience, and undeniable power. So today we gather to celebrate the extraordinary women who shape our communities, defy the odds, and create a future where every woman can thrive. I want to start with the words of the great Maya Angelou. I am a woman, phenomenal woman, that's me. When Maya Angelou wrote her legendary poem, Phenomenal Woman, she wasn't just talking about herself. She was talking about every Black woman who has dared to stand tall, to love herself unapologetically, and to carve out a space where society said there was none. She insisted that we know and own our worth, unapologetically. When I was asked to speak, I naturally did the opposite. I immediately questioned myself, what could I possibly say that would do justice to the incredible women in this room? And then I remembered a lesson my grandma Honey taught me a long time ago. I recall her strong tone saying, baby, don't you ever let this world make you feel small. I remember watching her shoulders back, head held high, carrying herself with grace despite the struggles she always faced. She wasn't rich, she wasn't famous, but she was always a force. And as I stand here today, I know that each of us has had a woman like that, a woman who poured strength into us even when we didn't know we needed it. Because of them, we are here. Phenomenal women are not just defined by one title, one achievement, or one journey. They are mothers who inspire with love and strength. They are the trailblazers shattering glass ceilings in boardrooms, classrooms, and laboratories. They are the activists, the artists, the healers, the innovators, the women who dare to dream and demand to be heard. Black women in particular have always been the blueprint, building movements, raising generations, breaking barriers, and still finding the strength to pour love into the world. Harriet Tubman didn't just free herself, she risked everything to free hundreds more. Madam C.J. Walker didn't just build wealth, she built opportunities. Shirley Chisholm didn't wait for permission, she ran for president before they were even ready to hear her. And today we have Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, Issa Rae, women who remind us every day that we are unapologetically powerful. But let's be honest, the journey has never been easy. Being a woman means carrying the weight of expectations. Being a Black woman means carrying the weight of both race and gender discrimination. It means being told we're too loud when we speak up, too ambitious when we dream big, and too much when we take up space. It means being overlooked, underpaid, and underestimated. It means being told we're too much when we stand up for ourselves and not enough when we ask for what we deserve. But let me remind you, we were never meant to fit into the boxes built to contain us. Most of the time people look at me and make assumptions. Most don't know all the intricacies that make me who I am. My journey was far from traditional. People have constantly made me question my intelligence, my worth, and even my heart. This ensued in a long history of me questioning myself. Working in the field of education is one of the most challenging for Black women, as we are held to very different standards. I would question how people would view me when I walked into a room making sure I covered my tattoos and didn't look too black. I remember a time I was told to tone it down to not be so bold or so outspoken by an actual older black woman. And for a moment, I considered shrinking myself. But then I remembered the words of my grandma and I thought, why should I make myself small for a world that was never meant to contain me in the first place? Sisters, we are not here to shrink. We are here to shine. So how do we keep rising? We show up for one another because when one of us wins, we all win. We take up space and own our brilliance because our presence is powerful. We invest in ourselves, our health, our education, our businesses, and our joy because we deserve it. Most importantly, do not take no for a final answer. Audre Lorde once said, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. We are standing on the shoulders of giants, but we are also laying the foundation for the next generation. The question is, what will we do with the power inside of us? Will we demand a seat at the table or will we build our own? Will we use our voices to challenge injustice or stay silent? Will we celebrate our worth or wait for the world to see it? What will your legacy be? Let this be the moment that you start the deciding what are the things that you are passionate about and how you can use that passion to make a difference. In closing, to every woman and young woman in this room, I see you. I recognize the challenges you face, the sacrifices you made, and the immense strength you carry within you. You are part of a legacy that spans centuries, and your contributions, whether big or small, are shaping the world. So as we continue this celebration, let us honor the phenomenal women who have come before us, the women who stand beside us, and the women who will come after us. Let us live boldly, let us take up space, and let us refuse to be anything less than phenomenal.
Okay, Dr. Rex. Yes. That was fantastic.